Hello, everyone, and welcome. It is week 2 of the Through the Woods Quilt-Along. My name is Jennifer Long. I'm an early childhood educator turned Riley Lake fabric designer, and this week we are cutting in to our book, Through the Woods book Quilt-Along. So whether you're here just to listen to the story or you are here to sew the quilt or any of the projects in between, I am so grateful you're here. Let's get started. All right, everyone, and welcome. This is week 2 of the Through the Woods Quilt-Along, and hopefully you have your book already. If you don't have your book already, again, do not worry. We're going to talk through about cutting and fabric placement this week, so you still have tons of time to catch up, and these videos live on forever. The most important thing you'll need to make sure you have is your physical copy of the Through the Woods book. You can grab it at any of your favorite online or brick and mortar quilt and fabric shops. If you are a fabric shop, feel free to message us below and let everyone know that you have copies of the book. So you'll need to grab a copy of the book, and then don't forget to go to the website and just sign up for the quilt along. There is a link also in my bio for that as well, and you'll get this little download here that has the quilt image on it. It has all of the weeks so you can follow along, make sure you don't miss a video or a week, and then it has fabric requirements so for the whole quilt, so you can start cutting it with your shops, or you can start just doing your own fabric pull for it. We are using Two Grandmother's House fabric collection. So it's my fabric collection here. It's in reds and pinks and greens with Bradley Blake Designs, and it's shipping in February 2024. So it should already be in shops. Just Google Two Grandmother's House by Jennifer Long, and you should be able to find some, as well as some confetti cottons. So those are solid colors that you can find at Riley Blake Designs, and we're going to talk a little bit more about that, in particular in relationship to the skin and doing like a skin diversity with fabrics and stuff like that. So I'm going to talk you through that as well today, so you won't want to miss that. Okay, so let's begin. I'm quite excited. I'm going to use my Olfa red cutter today. So this cutter is actually like one that's for Bee in My Bonnet. It's actually done for Riley Blake Designs. So I'm really excited to use it, and it matches really well with this collection. Inside your book, you're going to notice that there's cutting throughout the book, and I'm going to explain why in a second. But if you're looking for fabric requirements, as I said, you can get them off of the website on that download or on the back of the book right here. This is for the full quilt. If you want to make just a block, then you can cut as you go on each page. So we'll just open it up to the first page, which is Little Red Riding Hood. That one we'll be sewing together next week, but let's just talk about how that is structured. And each block is done in the same way. This book is designed to sew a story together. So when it was coming to me in this vision of this whole business, and this book is sort of embodied in that, I imagine that we are telling the story and feeling the story and living the story and experiencing the story and discussing the story as we are cutting and sewing the story. So the fabric requirements, like I said, for the whole thing are on the back. But if your shop is doing a quilt along, or if you are doing it as a quilt along with me, you can even just cut out a 5-inch square, a fat eighth, a fat quarter of these SKUs from the full amount and go from there. So the requirements are actually given in addition to on the back for the whole project for each block here. And that's so that if you wanted to just make the block, or if you wanted to just pull the fabric for that specific block and you're going to go very scrappy, and or if you're a shop and you are like drip funneling this to your customers. So let's just go with Little Red to start. And if you look on Little Red, it's going to tell you the rose fabric. So it shows you the print. It will show you the print here. It will tell you the SKU number, and then it'll say that it's called Foraging in the Forest. It's actually this print right here. And you'll need a 5-inch square of that. So you can see on Little Red, there's also a picture of the block right here as well. But you can see on Little Red Riding Hood, that's actually the print inside here. It's her dress. So we only need a 5-inch square to cut from that. And you can just kind of go along. And as you're cutting, you'll see that there's the next column here has the letter labels. And so then as you're cutting each piece, you'll just cut 1.5 by 2.25 rectangle and label it as A. So if you want to cut the whole book at once, you are more than welcome to this week. Or sort of as you want to cut as you go, you are also more than welcome to. But I would keep each block separate because Little Red has a piece A through MM on her. So she has that. And then when we go to the next week's block, which is Wolf, then he starts at A again. So you'll just want to maybe have a design board for each block, put out your letters and cut out, your pieces and label them, and then you'll move on to Wolf and have a design board for him if you're cutting it all out at once. If you're going to cut as you sew and cut as you go, then you can just simply just cut that week and then you'll have it sewn back before you cut the next one. So there was a lot of thought that was given to that. I also want to talk about this. There are these little like floral notes, designer notes everywhere. And they're like tips and tricks that I've put inside the book. And this one here is that you can substitute this SKU that's on the top here, this ballerina SKU, for any skin or fabric you want that. You can also substitute this brown color, which is her hair, for any color. So you can personalize this Little Red. Maybe the Little Red in your house has very red hair. So you'll want to change the skin tone and the hair. And we actually have a blog post at Sew a Story about this because if you didn't know, I am a professional doll maker. So this is what I call a doll maker's rainbow. And these are some confetti cottons. I give the list over at the blog post, and there's a link from the book to take you there as well. And it just calls out all the great colors and all the different tones of this rainbow that you can sew with. So hopefully that inspires you to personalize this quilt and just really make it super inclusive. And there's the link also there. The other really fun part of this book is that every block has its own story. So there's a story that's woven through this book, just like the woven fabric is, or like Little Red's basket is woven. This story is truly woven through this book. This is a poem that my teenage girls and I wrote. I wrote it and then you got their help, and we sort of wrote this poem, and it's our interpretation of the Little Red Riding Hood story, where the wolf is actually not a big bad wolf. He is actually like part of the family, like if you imagine like the family pet. They all join around for Grandma's apple pie crumb muffins, which you can find the recipe at the back page. So I hope that you, with your little Red Riding Hoods and woodcutters and wolves that you are sewing this for, that you can try these great muffins on the back too. They're much easier than apple pie, but they are just like a yummy apple pie crumb muffin. So the story is woven throughout. So feel free to let the children in your life flip through this book because there's illustrations in this book. There's lots of great details, plus the all of the cutting and all of the illustrations for like the step outs. For you to sew with. There's also the text and the words and lots of fun little peeking elements. Here's a little wolf and his story at the bottom here. So there's just a lot of fun. There's another little note of a lot of little fun treasures that you can kind of peek through and find in this book. So I am going to leave that completely up to you. It is completely personal how you want to cut and prep yourself and how much time you have available. But know that There's no right way or wrong way. You can cut per block or cut per the whole quilt. If you cut the whole quilt this week, please do just make sure that you keep the blocks separated so that this is Little Red's block, this is the wolf's block, this is Grandma's block, because that is how the pattern is structured. So I will see you again next week when we will sew together Little Red Riding Hood, and I'll give you the tips and tricks to make her block all traditionally pieced and get all these great little points. So I hope to see you here again next week. Thank you so much for being here. Don't forget to share along. There is a giveaway that is happening, so you'll need to be sharing for that giveaway. For more information on that giveaway, make sure you're following me on social. Make sure that you are tagging us at sewastory_Jennifer on Instagram or at sewastory. Share in the Facebook group. All of those are entries to win, and we'll pick a prize winner at the end of this month. Okay, thank you so much for being here, and I'll see you again next week. Bye for now.